Hi all, welcome to GrapeCity Documents webinar. We are pleased to announce the new v4.2 release, and today I will be presenting the major new features we have added to this release. My name is Shilpa Sharma. I am Product Manager for GrapeCity Documents. If you have any questions or feedback on the new features, please email me at this address. Before I move on to the agenda of the webinar, let me give you an overview of what GrapeCity Documents is about. So productivity, efficiency, and security, these are key aspects of document management. And this is the reason why organizations are shifting from paper documents to digital documents. So with trillions of electronic data that is floating over the web, the documents are being generated from data, reports, analysis, and collaborations, user inputs for storage, retrieval of data, or sharing data across at runtime every day. So GrapeCity Documents is a set of document APIs that helps create, load, edit, save, convert XLSX spreadsheets, PDF, images, and docx files using C#.NET, VB.NET, or Java. There is no dependency on Acrobat or MS Office Suite products. These set of APIs are fully supported on .NET 5. And also included in GrapeCity Documents is GrapeCity Documents PDF Viewer. It's a JavaScript-based PDF documents viewer and an editor. It helps to view, edit, design, fill, submit, or print PDF forms or PDF documents over the web, and also save modified PDFs on the client. So the snapshot you see over here is GrapeCity Documents PDF Viewer with a PDF that has been generated with GrapeCity Documents for PDF or GCPDF API. Multiple users are seen here collaborating over the PDF documents, and they are using comment and reply tool to comment over the documents. Also included are other products. You can have a look on www.grapecity.com/documents-api. Moving on to the agenda of the webinar, I will be sharing details of some major new features we have added to v4.2 release, and this will be followed by small demos of those features from the sample browsers. So with GCPDF, you will now be able to add layers to PDF documents programmatically. In GCPDF Viewer, we have added some predefined stamps to the stamp annotation dropdown, using which you will be able to add inbuilt stamps or predefined stamps on the PDF documents easily. With GC Excel, you will now be able to apply dynamic array formulas in Excel workbook, and the 7 new functions have been introduced. In our calculation engine, we have added some new functions, and I will demo the web service and the filter XML function today. You will now be able to export Excel files with charts to PDF in your Java apps using GC Excel Java. This was much in demand from our customers, and today I will demo the steps to do so in your Java apps. In GC Word, you will now be able to bind Word report templates with data coming from multiple data sources. And in GC Imaging, I will share details of the new APIs we have added to the bitmap renderer class for advanced effects on images. Starting with GCPDF, you can now add layers to PDF documents programmatically. So a PDF layer is basically a section of objects that need to be arranged in a certain way. So every layer can have certain part of the PDF document that can be showcased, and the visibility can be turned on and off selectively. So this is helpful in CAD drawings or architectural designs where there are multiple designs of the same architecture. And this is a house plan example where this is the house design, and there are separate designs for the security system, for the lighting system, for the wiring system, etc. The advantage is that you can have all these designs within a single PDF document. So we have introduced the optional content properties class that provides extensive API to work with PDF layers programmatically. So you can add the layers, you can enumerate and find existing layers, or you can associate PDF content that you draw on the graphics, the GCPDF graphics, formX object or annotation objects with specific layers. You can also examine and set layer properties such as the visibility or the print state or the export state, and you can remove the layers. So in our online sample browser for GCPDF, we have implemented samples for the layers feature. In this particular sample of housing plan, there are separate PDFs with separate designs of a house, and we need to add these PDFs as separate layers within a single PDF document. So you iterate over that list, add each PDF as a separate layer in the optional content property of GCPDF document, set the layer default state of each layer and render that layer on the PDF page and save the document. So this is how your final PDF looks like. This PDF has separate designs of the housing plan, and if you want to see the plan for this security system, you can turn the visibility on for this layer, or if you want to see the lighting plan, you can turn the visibility on. So like this, each design has been added as a separate layer within a single PDF document, and this is how you can add a layer programmatically to a PDF document using GCPDF. There is another example that we have implemented for the layers feature. It is about datasheet in two different languages. So this datasheet is a PDF, and we have added English and Russian versions of the datasheet as separate layers within the single PDF document, and we have done that programmatically, and this is how the PDF looks like. So this is the English version of the datasheet, and English and Russian are two layers which are added to the PDF document. If you turn this off and turn visibility of Russian layer, so you see the datasheet now appears in the Russian language. So like this, you can add multiple languages as separate layers within a single PDF document. This is another example of adding layers to PDF document. Moving on to GCPDF viewer, we have added some inbuilt or predefined stamps to the stamp annotation dropdown in the annotation editor of GCPDF viewer. So using these set of stamps, you can add stamps to PDF document easily because such stamps define the status of the document when they are reviewed. You can add these stamps on the client side or on the server side if you have stamps of your own, and if you do not want the inbuilt stamps. So let us see how you can add stamps to this dropdown. So this is the online sample browser for GCPDF viewer, where we have implemented new samples for the predefined stamps. And this is the PDF viewer with the annotation editor opened, and this is the stamp annotation dropdown. So if you open this dropdown, you will see these inbuilt stamps added by default in the dropdown, and if you select a stamp and place it on the document, you will see the stamp is added to the document, and the stamp that you last added starts appearing in this stamp annotation icon over here. So if you want to add the last added stamp again, you can just select this and place it again, and this will be added to the document. And if you save this document and open it, you will see the two stamps added to the document. Now, if you do not want to add the inbuilt stamps to this dropdown, but you want to add stamps of your own, and you have those stamps on the client side, so you need to set certain properties on the client side. You can define the stamp categories property, where you define these properties: name, TPI, and stamp image URLs. Name will be basically the category into which the images would be divided. So we have the art category and the miscellaneous, and then you set these URLs in the stamp image URLs. And when you open the drop down, you will see the stamp annotations have been added to this drop down. This is how they appear. And if you have stamps on the server side as well, you can add stamps from the server side, and this is the sample which you can have a look at in our online sample browser. So now we move on to our new features in GC Excel. So we have added the support of adding dynamic array formulas programmatically in the worksheet using GC Excel. These formulas help to return multiple results over a range of cells based on a single formula. So this is called the spill range functionality, and this functionality can work with all our existing functions. So in dynamic array formulas, we have introduced 7 new functions that can help you apply this concept in the worksheet. And now I will demo how we can use these dynamic array formulas programmatically. So this is the final sales report where the product sales are listed date wise, and in the final chart You only want to show certain products, not all products. Only the products for which the show value in this column is 1. Okay, so you want this chart to behave interactively. So for example, if I add value 1 for any product, that product should reflect in this chart. So this chart is based on some dynamic data, and how to set it. So in this G4 cell, we set a dynamic array formula. We sort the product list for which the show value is 1, and then we sort it on the basis of sales. So we filter out the sales for which the show value is 1, and then we sort it in descending order. So this is the list that is returned. So as you see that for one formula, multiple results are returned. That's the spill range functionality of dynamic array formulas. And in this cell, for the sales column, we apply a VLOOKUP and refer to the cell which applies the dynamic array formula. So for that cell, we need to add a hash value. We apply a VLOOKUP that finds this product over the whole range and returns the sales value. And so because it is based on a dynamic array formula, so multiple results are returned over here as well. And then you add some defined names where you set the product to refer to the G4 cell for the product name and sales to the H4 cells for the cell for the sales. And later you bind this chart to the defined names. So you set the x-axis to the product and the y-axis to the sales, and this is how your chart would be bound to a table that applies dynamic array formula. So how you implement this using GCXL? You load the source data Excel file into the GCXL workbook and set the allow dynamic array property to true. Then in the G4 and H4 cells, you set the dynamic array formulas. Add defined names to the workbook and refer them to the G4 and H4 cells, followed by a hash value because they are referring to the cells which have the dynamic array formulas. And then you add a chart and bind the series to the defined names and save the workbook. So this Excel file is generated using GCXL, and this is how you add dynamic array formulas programmatically using GCXL in Excel workbooks. In our online sample browser, you can check the implementation of other functions too that help to apply dynamic array formulas in the workbooks programmatically. You can check the implementation of each of these samples and also download them at your end. Some new additional functions we have added to our calculation engine. These are the 7 new functions. So I will go through them briefly. Web service function will help you return data from a web service, and because the data is returned as an XML, so the filter XML function will filter that XML data into a readable form. ASC, DBCS, and JIS, these functions are more used for Japanese and Chinese text or for Far East Asian languages. And we have introduced 2 new properties, formula local and formula R1C1 local, that will help to retrieve or set localized formulas on the cells. So basically these functions will work with the Japanese or Chinese text. And xmatch and xlookup functions are better versions of the match and vlookup functions. They can perform exact searches, including wildcard search in a horizontal or a vertical range. So while xmatch will return the index of the value that you are looking for, xlookup will return the value from a horizontal or vertical range. So let me go through 2 new functions, web service and filter XML, and show how we can use it in GCXL. So this is a website that uses web service to retrieve weather data related to a location, and this is how the XML looks like. So if we want to use similar data from the web service in an Excel worksheet, then we will have to use the web service and filter XML functions, and the filter XML will help you to extract specific data like the location, the observation time, the weather, and the temperature from this XML file. So let's see how you can use the web service and filter XML functions programmatically to generate an Excel worksheet with data like this. So in the code, we create a new workbook, and in the first worksheet, we set a formula in A2 cell that uses the web service function and passes this URL into the web service function. And in the next few cells, we add what data we need to retrieve from. We add the XML nodes. So the location, observation time, weather, and temperature underscore string. These are the XML nodes that we need to extract from the whole XML file that is returned from the web service. So in the next cell A7, we set the filter XML formula where we pass the result of this web service, the A2 cell, into this function, and in A3 cell is the XML node, so we pass that XML node here, and similarly in the other cells we pass the other XML nodes. Finally save the workbook, and this is the generated workbook from GC Excel. So you see over here in this cell the function web service is used, which takes the URL of the web service, we pass through it, and in the next few nodes are the XML nodes that we need to pass to the filter XML function. And finally in A7 we had set this function filter XML, which took the result of the web service, that is the XML returned in A2, and A3 is the XML node from where we need to take the location data, and finally it returns us the location, and the other cells also return the specific data we need out of the XML. So this is how you use the filter XML and web service functions programmatically to extract data from a web service. And if you want to check the implementation of other functions, we have added the implementation to our sample browsers. You can have a look on these samples and also download them from here. So next we move on to GC Excel Java. Much in demand from our customers was the ability to export Excel files with charts to PDF in Java apps, and now we have added that support with v4.2 release. Let me show you how you can do so in your Java apps. So this is your IntelliJ IDE, and the first step you need to do is to include all the dependent jar files you need to run GC Excel in Java apps. You can get this list in GC Excel Java documentation we have online. So on the GC Excel dependencies page, you will get the list of all the dependent jar files required in the project. And then you import necessary namespaces, generate your workbook, add chart, and just save it to PDF. That's all you need to do to convert your Excel file with charts to PDF. And if you run this application, you will see two files generated, and these are how they look like. So your Excel file with chart is completely converted to PDF. If you want to know which features are supported when exporting Excel files with charts to PDF, you can have a look on the online documentation of GC Excel Java. This info would be available on the export charts page. And in our online sample browser for GC Excel Java, we have also implemented several samples which will demo how to export Excel files with charts to PDF. You can have a look on these samples. The next feature that we have added to GC Word is the ability to bind Word report templates with multiple data sources. So now you can just simply add multiple data sources to this data sources collection of data template and make use of data from these data sources. In this example, there are two simple JSON data sources which have been added to GC Word documents data template or data sources collection, and we just create a template where we display popular car makers and the body styles, both coming from different data sources, and this is the final report. If you want to have a look on the implementation of this sample, it is there in our online GC Word sample browser, and there are new samples added to it. You can have a look on the new features that we have released in v4.2. We have added some interesting features to GC imaging in v4.2 release. So when you are combining images or drawing text, graphics or images on underlying bitmap, or drawing some semi-transparent images, then you would want to control the resulting colors that are being generated. So we have added new blend mode enum. This will help you to combine images, and this also affects the drawing of text, graphics and images on the bitmap. So if you see over here, this image is generated using GC imaging, where we have applied different blend modes when drawing a text over underlying image. The underlying image is a spectrum image, and you see that with different blend modes, we have generated different effects. Now, when you are drawing semi-transparent graphic images on the underlying bitmap object, the resulting color is generally a mix of the object being drawn and the target bitmap's pixel color. But if you set the background bitmap property to the bitmap render class, then the resulting color would be the color of the graphics object being drawn. So this produces effects like isolated and knockout effects, which are included in the PDF spec online. And generally, this concept will be used when rendering PDF to images. Another API that we have added is the transparency mask bitmap object that helps to apply transparency mask for drawing and filling operations. So you see over here the graphics objects are drawn on the underlying bitmap, and when this property is applied, uh, you can see the different colors that are generated from transparent to opaque. So the transparency mask bitmap here has been applied on the target bitmap, and this is set to a linear gradient ranging from transparent to opaque. And in our online sample browser for GC imaging, you can have a look on the new samples we have implemented for the new API additions. In this particular sample of transparency mask, you can see that in the left image we have applied the transparency mask, while in the right image no transparency mask has been applied. So you can see the kind of effects you can generate with the new API. So with this, we come to the end of this webinar. Be sure to visit these blog links to view full details of the new features we have added in this release. Also, please share your feedback either on the blog links or on this email address. Thank you.